A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 6 subject science chapter number 9, that is the living organism, their characteristics and habitat. This is your lecture number 4. In this lecture I'll summarize this chapter, the complete chapter number 9. So let us begin this lecture with the first topic, that is about the introduction.
Is the introduction part of the living organism. And what are organisms? Here the different regions in the world have the various type of the living creatures are called as organisms. Next is about the environment. So everything we see surrounding us, or the living thing or it's a non-living thing, a physical and the chemical things, are called as environment. As you can see here in environment, in this picture there are the living things also and the non-living things also. Living things are those, the plants, and non-living things are the water, air, soil, and some physical and the chemical activities is called as environment. Next is about the two components, biotic component and abiotic component. So these are the component of a habitat. Okay, habitat is made up of the two basic components. Biotic means the living component and abiotic means the non-living component. Here the biotic means these are the living component of the ecosystem, for example flora and fauna, and abiotic component, the non-living component of the ecosystem like soil, water, air, are called as abiotic component. In biotic component, it vary in their shape, size, form, and the method of obtaining the food. Okay, and on the basis of how they obtain food, biotic component can be classified as like a producer, autotroph, consumer, and heterotrophs. In another hand, abiotic component, the non-living component of the ecosystem like air, water, soil, temperature, and light. These are the abiotic component. Okay, and biotic and the abiotic component are interdependent to each other. So from this picture you can easily understand the biotic and abiotic component. Here the biotic are the living things which are plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, and protists. In abiotic component, the non-living things like water, soil, air, minerals, light, temperature. So these are the abiotic component. Okay, next is about the organism and the surrounding where they lives. So the table shows here the some common organisms and their place to live, the organism and their habitat. So in the forest region, the organism that they live here are lion, deer, elephant, fox, tiger, leopard, and monkey. In another hand, on mountain areas, the organisms where they live are the fern, yak, snow leopard, mountain goats, sheep. In the same way, in the desert area, these are the organisms which they are living. In the sea or any other areas, the organisms, their place to live. Next is about the habitat and the adaptation. So first is the habitat. The region or the place where an organisms live is known as habitat. A variety of animals and the plants can be seen at almost every place on the earth. So the natural environment of a living thing is called as habitat. Habitat can be a pond, forest, moist soil, river, grassland, desert. So habitat should have these following features. First is the adequate food and water for the survival of the thing. Second is the shelter for the protection from the enemies. And third is the optimum or the most suitable temperature for the survival. Okay, next is the example of the habitat, the camel. Now we are going to study the habitat of a camel. So camel has a long legs which provide protection from the heat of the sand. Next it excretes the small quantity of urine. It excretes the small quantity of urine. Next is they do not sweat and their dung is very dry. They can live without water for many days as their bodies lose a little amount of water. So first of all, the camel have the long legs. They help them to keep their body away from the heat of the sand. Second thing is they have the thick eyebrows, shield the eyes from the sun, while the long lashes keep the sand out. Okay, and they store the fat in their hump, so it provide energy when food is unavailable. Next is the camel conserve water by not sweating and by excreting the small amount of urine, so they can drink large quantity of water when water is available. Okay, so due to these features, camel can survive without water for many days. So these are the features of camel. Next is about the fish, the habitat of fish. The streamlined shape helps to move easily in water. Presence of slippery scales. Gills helps in utilizing the dissolved oxygen. They have the gills for the respiration. Flat fins and tail help in changing the direction in their water. So this is a picture of different type of the fishes. They have the streamlined shape, help to move easily in water. They have the slippery scale on their body. They have the gills that help in the utilizing the dissolved oxygen that is present in water. Okay, next is about these, both the organisms discussed above have the specific features, okay, or we can say the characteristics that enable them to survive in their habitat. So these features are termed as adaptation. Okay, so adaptation are the structure or the functional adjustment shown by any organism in order to survive or live in its environment. That is adaptation. Adaptation occur over thousands of years, and the organism which do not adapt to the change in the surrounding, they die out, leaving the stronger ones to survive. Okay, so these changes takes place over the long period of time. And one more thing, an adaptation is a permanent change. Okay, for example, adaptation shown by the camel to adjust in the desert condition. Okay, so the change are both physical and internal. This is an adaptation. Next is about the terrestrial habitat and the aquatic habitat. So here in the terrestrial habitat, the animal which live in terrestrial habitat are called as terrestrial animals, or the plant and animals that thrive on land said to live in the terrestrial habitat. For example, forest, desert, mountain regions, these are the regions example of the terrestrial habitat. So yeah, terrestrial habitat divided in forest, grassland, desert and mountain region. So first we are going to study about the next is aquatic habitat. The plant and the animals that thrive in water said to live in aquatic habitat are known as aquatic habitat. For example, rivers, lakes, these are the aquatic habitat. Next is about the terrestrial habitat in deserts. So the following adaptation of various organisms are enlisted below. First is the snake and rats dig the burrows to escape the intense heat, as they don't have the long legs such as the camel. So these animals come out only during the night when it is cooler. Next adaptation in desert, plants leaves are reduced to spines and lose the little amount of water through the transpiration. In desert area, the leaves of the plants modified into some thorn or into the thorns and spines, so it loses little water through the transpiration. Next, the stem of the desert plants have a waxy coating on them, and most of the them, photosynthesis is carried out by the stem. First, the stem of the desert plant have the waxing coating on them, and in most of them the photosynthesis is carried out by the stem. Their roots go deep into the soil to absorb the water. The leaves in the desert plants are absent to prevent the loss of water due to the transpiration. So that's why they have the spines instead of the leaves. Next is in mountain region, some adaptation in the mountain region. The trees are cone shaped with the slope like branches. Also, needle like leaves are present so that rain and the snow slides off them easily. They have the trees are the cone shaped and slope like branches and needle like leaves because they can snow slide off them easily. That's why they have the needle like leaves. Animals have the thick fur which provide the protection from the cold. For example, snow leopard, mountain goats and polar bear. This is the picture of mountain region. Next is the presence of the strong hooves helps the mountain goats to run on the rocky slopes, and in these regions they covered with the snow only mosses and lichens survives. Okay, because the flowering plant grow during the short summer season when the snow melts. Next is examples are the pine tree, mountain goats, yaks, sheep, etc. And the yaks have the long hair to keep them warm. And the yak can graze on the variety of plants. It can break the frozen ice in the ground with its hooves because they have the strong hooves and horns to get buried the grasses. Next example is about the penguin. The penguin have the layer of oily waterproof feathers and a thick layer of fat under the skin to keep themselves warm. So it also provide energy when there is shortage of food. Okay. Next is in the grasslands. So these are the adaptation in the grassland. First one is the light brown color of the lion helps it to hide in dry grassland, and the presence of long claws help to capture the prey. So first of all, the grassland are the large area that covered with the tall grasses. Because of the open area and the widely spaced tree, grasslands are a home to large herds of the grazing mammal, or we can say such as the bisons. Okay, next is deer has a strong teeth to eat the plant stems. Also, its long ear had to listen to predator movement. So here the predator means the lions are found in the forest and in the grassland. Okay, so they are predators. Predators are those animals that hunt and kill other animals for food, is known as predator. Okay, and preys are these the prey are those animals which is hunted for food is called prey. So here the lion is a predator and the deer is a prey. Okay, so in grassland the plants have the flexible stems to bear the effect of the strong winds. Okay, and they have the narrow and the small leaves to reduce the water loss. Next adaptations is in deer. They have the eyes on its sides of the head which helps them to look in all the direction to look out for danger. So deer are the brown in color, so hence they cannot be easily spotted. Okay, and next is they have the strong teeth for chewing hard stem of the plant in the forest. The sum of the animals living in these habitats are elephant, giraffe, lion and deer. So these are the animals, and deer can run fast to escape from their predator, from the lion.
In aquatic habitat, the marine habitat comprises of oceans, seas, and both have the salt water. They are home to a wide variety of creatures, like most of the fish population is found here. Next is the marine creatures are found in estuaries where the river and oceans meet and the water is salty. The marine mammals like whales migrate to long distance in order to cope up that temperature changes. There are the several aquatic plants and the aquatic animals which adapt in their aquatic habitat. Firstly, if we talk about the different plants, so the root of the aquatic plants are either absent or very poorly developed, because this is because water is easily available to them. Okay. Next is about the in ocean. So the most organisms have the streamlined bodies and animals have the gills. These are the adaptations in ocean. The octopus do not have the streamlined body, so they stay deep in the ocean, but when moving they make a streamlined motion. When they present deep in the ocean, they do not have the streamlined body, but when they are moving they have the streamlined motion. They make the streamline. Then whales have blowholes instead of the gills, and this enables them to breathe easily when they swim near the surface of the water. For example, mammals like the dolphin and the whales, they do not have the gills to breathe in water, so they have lungs. So they breathe through the blowholes present on the upper part of their head. So these animals come to the water surface from time to time to engulf that oxygen from the air. Okay, or to breathe that oxygen from the air. Next is about the freshwater habitat. Here the rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. comprises the freshwater habitats, and the 3% of the world water is accounted as a fresh water, but still a wide variety of species are found here. So the snails, worms, mollusks, etc. are found in this freshwater habitat. In the ponds and the lakes, the plants like the water plants can be completely submerged in water like the hydrilla, or the floating on the surface of the water like a water lily, lotus and water hyacinth. Okay, these are the plant stems. Here the roots of the aquatic plants are either absent or the very poorly developed. So because of the water is easily available to them, so the leaves are covered with the wax to avoid the decay due to the long exposure to the water. Okay, the plant like water hyacinth, lotus, water lily, they float on the water because they are categorized further as the emergent plant. Their roots are fixed but leaves and stem extended out of the water, so they easily float on the surface of the water. Next is the adaptation in the plants is the totally submerged plant have the narrow and ribbon like leaves, for example in the tape grass. So this can bend in the flowing water. Their leaves are large and circular to help the plant to float easily on the water. Okay. Next is about the stems. The adaptation in the stems in aquatic plants. The stem of the aquatic plants have the air spaces to enable the plant to easily float on the surface of water. The floating plants are large and flat, and they have the waxy upper surface that makes them waterproof. On the leaves or on the stem they have the waxy upper surface, so they can make them waterproof. They have the stomata on the upper surface which are exposed to air, and the stomata help in the exchange of gases. Okay, stomata are present on the upper surface of leaves, while it is on the lower surface in the terrestrial plant. On terrestrial plant, the stomata present on the lower surface, but in the aquatic plant, the stomata is present on the upper surface. Okay. Next is about the adaptation in aquatic animal in frog. Frog are adapted to live both on the land and water. They have the strong back, leg and the webbed feet which allow them to swim in water by easily. Next is in the coastal habitat. First one is the aquatic habitat, second the freshwater habitat, and third one is the coastal habitat. The coastal habitat where the land meets the sea area, that is coastal habitat. Beaches, a special type of the tree called the mangroves, are found in this habitat. Coastal plants like a seaweed attached to the rocks firmly, so they are not swayed by the waves. The coastal plants like the seaweed plants, they is attached to the rocks because they are not easily swayed by the waves. That's why they attach to the rocks. Next is about the acclimatization. Due to the certain changes in the surrounding, organisms adapt through them by the making small changes in their body over a short period of time. That is acclimatization. Or we can say that the acclimatization is the adjustment done by an organism when the temporary changes occur in their normal habitat. Okay, it's simple. The organism adjusts to a gradual change in its environment like a temperature or a humidity. So these changes are the temporary, and these adjustments reverse when the normal condition returns back. For example, the change which takes place in the body when we travel from plains to mountain. Okay, and this adjustment which the body makes is called acclimatization. Okay, the change which takes place in the body when we travel from plains to mountain, and this adjustment body make is called acclimatization. Okay. Next is about the characteristics of the living organisms. First is question: do all living things need food? So yes, they require food to grow and carry out their life processes. So in chapter 1st and 2nd, we already learned that all the living things need food. Okay, because for example, the plant make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So animals depend on the plant or other animals for their food, because this food gives organism the energy needed for them to growth. So organism also need energy for the other life processes. Okay, that's why living things need food to growth and carry out their own life processes. Next is, do all living things shows growth? Yes, they grow in size. For example, your kurta had 4 year back that you are wearing, it's still fitting you, so you cannot wear it anymore now. So you must have grown taller during these years, so you may not realize it now, but you are growing all the time, and if in few more years you will become an adult. Okay, so plant also grow, animal also grow. So look around you and see a few plants of the particular type. Some are very small, some are very big, young. So they may be all in a different stage of a growth. So growth seems to be a common to all the living beings. Okay, next is about, do all living things respire? Yes, all living thing or the all living organism breathe and respire. So breathing is to intaking of the oxygen and exhaling the carbon dioxide, that is breathing. Okay, and respiration is the breaking down of the food to obtaining that energy is respiration. Okay, breathing is a part of a process called the respiration. Respiration, some of the oxygen of air we breathe in and use that by the body. Okay, so in the same way, the process of the breathing in the animal or in a cow, buffalo, dogs, that is similar to human beings. Okay, same. So in some animals may have the different mechanism for the exchange of gases. which is a part of the respiration process. For example, in different organism or in different animal like earthworm, it's breathe through their skin. Fishes, they breathe by their gills because the gills absorb the oxygen from the air dissolved in water. Next is about, do all living things respond to stimuli? So the answer is yes, they respond to stimuli. So here stimuli is change in the environment or the change in our surrounding that make us to respond, them are called stimuli. Next is, do all living things reproduce their own kind? So yes, they carry out the reproduction. Reproduction means producing the next generation, and they carry out the excretion process also, that is elimination of waste from the body. Here animals reproduce their own kind. Okay, you have seen many birds lay their egg in the nest. So some of the egg hatches and young birds come out from them. So this is the reproduce their own kind. In same way, animals reproduce their own kind, that the mode of reproduction may be different, but animals produce their young ones through eggs, and some animals give birth to young ones. Okay, and in the same way in the plant also reproduce like animals. Plants also different in their mode of reproduction. Many plants reproduce through the seeds, many plants produce seeds. So it's depend on their reproduction time. Okay, next is about the excretion. Excretion is the process of getting rid of the waste of organisms, is known as excretion, or elimination of waste from the body is excretion. Okay, next is, do all living organisms move? Yes, movement is shown by the living organisms. In chapter 8 you had already seen that about the animal movement. They move from one place to the another place and show the other body movements. Okay, at last the homework of this summary lecture is, you have to solve the assignment of chapter number 9, that is the living beings and characteristics their habitat. So you have to solve this assignment in your science fair notebook. So this is it about this video. Hope you have understood this video. Thank you and have a nice day.